Hi and welcome everybody to the Uncanny X-Men. My name is Philip Tenser, better known as Logan McCree, and today I want to talk about the fact that I was called a pedo sympathizer on Twitter just a couple of days ago. So why did somebody call me a sympathizer of pedophiles? That's what I want to talk about with you. There's an actress called Olivia Munn, and she appears in the new Predator movie, and she did a scene with an actor who later on she found out he was a convicted sex offender, and she was very angered about the fact that the director didn't tell the cast that they were performing with a sex offender, and Olivia Munn made the studio cut the scene from the movie, and she's very vocal about the fact that she's angered and disappointed that the director didn't make the cast aware of that. A lot of people on Twitter supported Olivia Munn and how courageous she is, and to be honest, yes, I think it is courageous to speak out about it because it might make it difficult for her in the future to get jobs as easily if the studios know that one of their actors can become a liability, can become problematic. So she's fighting for something that she believes in, and I applaud that. But I don't think it's the right thing to fight for, because this person was sentenced, he was in jail, and now I think he should be free to work again and should be part of our society again without being made a social pariah. That is my opinion. When I started answering the tweets and defending convicted people, the other side started to attack me and started to call me a pedo sympathizer, or and it was quite interesting because the other side constantly said, oh, a lot of guys seem to support this actor, there must be something wrong with them, maybe they're all sexual offenders or pedophiles. That was the common feeling that the other side insinuated, which I find incredibly offensive. Why can't people just speak on behalf of the legal system? And why can't people just say, well, if somebody was convicted of something and he was in jail or he paid the money for that or whatever, why can't they be free people again? And my question was, do we have the same standards when it comes to other convictions? Murderers, thieves, people that stole tax money, stuff like that. First of all, what's really weird to me, so I live in Europe. I'm German and I live in the UK now. And all over Europe, the age of consent for sexual actions is between 14 and 16 years old. There are a few exceptions where it's 17 years old, and I think one country where it's 18 years old. In the vast majorities, it's between 14 and 16. That is a huge difference to America, where the age of consent is 18. I think in a couple of states it might be 17, but overall it's 18 years. And if an 18-year-old person has sex with a 17-year-old, it's already a sexual offense. And that's ridiculous. I can't even understand how this system in America can work. It's so unnatural. Till you're 18, you're pretty much not allowed to have sex, and then from the age of 18, it doesn't matter if you perform in hardcore porn movies with the most brutal ways of sexual penetration. How does that make sense? How can you draw a strict line between being 17 and 18, between not being allowed to have sexual experiences and being allowed to have all kinds of sexual experiences? People evolve differently. Some people are much more mature in their early teens, when they're 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. Some people mature much later than 18. So for some people, having a sexual experience at the age of 18 is still traumatizing. It can't be as clear as, oh, this is right, this is wrong. In the European countries, it's much more complex. For example, if an adult takes advantage of somebody who's, let's say, 15, and taking advantage as in you're the teacher of this minor, or you are closely related to this minor, or this minor is going through a very hard time, suffers from depression, or is mentally impaired, then it's still a crime to do that. And that regulation to me feels much more in touch with real life. And I think that's why you have so many sex offenders in America, simply because these laws are not in touch with real life. And how can you put somebody on a sex offender list for years, sometimes for life, if nothing really happened, if really nothing happened? So, the next thing I want to say is, pedophiles that's a very specific term. And I want to read you out the term, what pedophile actually means. Pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experiences a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children. Prepubescent. That means, and at the age of 14, most children are in puberty or have already gone through puberty. So this guy that we're talking about, that Olivia Munn was talking about, what was he actually accused of? So he was accused of writing over the internet with a 14-year-old girl. He was at the time, I think, over 30. Writing with this girl in a sexual way. She was a distant relative of him, and she was going through a hard time where she wasn't feeling very well, and apparently he wanted to boost her self-confidence, so he called her attractive, and that got more and more into a sexual talk. So I don't know this guy, I don't know this girl, I don't know how mature she is, I don't know the wording of these emails, and I'm not defending what he did because I wasn't there. I can't have an opinion on that. But he, per definition, first of all, is not a rapist, and people called him rapist, and it was in this whole conversation they constantly said the word rapist, rapist, rapist. He was sending emails to a girl. That's not rape. If sending emails to somebody, sexual emails to somebody, is rape, then God, there are a lot of rapists out there. Then actually I'm a rapist. Oh, I'm a serial rapist. Oh, I've written so many sexual text messages to people. But sending text messages is not the same as rape. Okay, do we have that clear? Pedophiles, that's for prepubescent children. He's not a pedophile, he's not a rapist. It's quite possible that he did something wrong, and I'm not defending him. But that was almost 10 years ago, that was 7 years ago. And 7 years ago he did a mistake. He went to prison for that. He went to prison for writing emails for 6 months. And now Olivia Munn can't work with him, and she wants him to be publicly shamed, pretty much, and that means he will never get a job. Because of Olivia Munn, I think this guy will never get a job as an actor again. I'm pretty sure Olivia Munn is happy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are happy. This is a person who's been to prison, who starts to live a normal life now, I assume. and you keep him from reintegrating into society? Do you want to do that with everybody who has done anything wrong in their life? Olivia Munn says, oh, she doesn't feel comfortable with working somebody who's a sexual offender. Well, you never know who a sexual offender is. Everybody out there could be a sexual offender. Literally everybody. Now, I want to address the problems with real pedophiles. The problem is that it's a mental disorder. Most pedophiles, as far as I know, I heard that somewhere, most pedophiles apparently never act upon their disorder. So they know it's wrong and they suppress it their whole life. And to them I have to say kudos. That is, I can't even imagine the pressure that these people have to live under to suppress this urge their whole life. Thank you for considering the pain that you would inflict if you would act upon your disorder. But those who act upon their disorder, I don't know what to do with them. I really don't. If it's an urge they can't control, and if the chance is high that they would do it again, I don't know if the right way forward is chemical castration, locking them away for the rest of their lives. I have no idea. I think we have to leave it up to the jurisdiction, the legal system, and psychiatrists and psychologists to deal with this issue. And I do think that the problem has to be destigmatized to a certain extent, because those people who self-identify as pedophiles and do suffer from that, they should be able to get help. There should be, and I don't know if they exist, but there should be hotlines for these people where they can call and talk about their urges, and there should be as much help for them as possible without them being immediately made pariahs of society. Those people that fight with everything they have against these urges, they should get help. The ones that can't fight against it, or, and most of all, don't want to fight against it, they have to face severe punishment and treatment. That was it for me today. Sorry it was a bit longer, and sorry for rambling on a little bit, but it's a complicated issue. And last but not least, am I a pedo sympathizer? Yes, I am, because I sympathize with people. I sympathize with all humans, murderers, pedophiles, violent people. Before I judge them, I want to understand them, and as I would call myself a Christian, and as a Christian I have to feel sorry for these people, because I wish they had chosen a better life, a better path, and I know they need to be punished hard, and I have absolutely no problem with that, but that does not mean that I can't feel sorry for them. So yes, I guess if you define it like that, I am a pedo sympathizer, and I have no problem with that. So, and I really hope that this is not being taken out of context and posted all over the internet, like it happened to me before, that people tried to destroy me as a person based on things that I supposedly said that I never said in that context. Okay, if you have any question, if you have any comments, please feel free to write them in the comment section, or visit me on Twitter under Logan McCree 777.